All right, let's see how this game looks. This is first time watching it. So far, haven't even tried to shoot the basketball into the hoop, so that's basically reportable. All right, let's get into it. Let's see the rollout.
Round one. Capture the objective.
All right, here we go.
Lucio rollouts I'm not super concerned with. I like this verticality you have here, though. Okay, so first thing that I'm looking at here is, and this is just a big question to ask yourself in Overwatch, it's pretty common sense, but is like, what are we going for here? So when you're up top, if we just expand out for a second, what we're looking at here, let me see if I can, hold on, how the hell do I even spectate anymore? There we go. So the rest of the team is back here, right? We just lost one person. Ellen just went down very dramatically. Hog is still back here. Who else do we have? We have you up here, and then we have Widow here. So this is a little bit of a tricky position. This is a very tricky position. And actually, before we even go into full comparison, let's just talk about what our team comp wants to do, because this is kind of the place to start your evaluation. How is Lucio going to play with the team? Lucio is a super synergistic character with his heals and with his speed. He wants to be with people, and then when he goes off, he wants that to be like a conscious decision. Right, you're with everyone, you're boosting them, you go off, amp yourself speed, kill someone, get back. It's classic Lucio. So we have a Widowmaker and a Reaper as DPS, which is kind of a weird combo. And then we have a Hog, a Lucio, and a Kiriko. So the way that this comp might work, even though it's a bit of a weird one, is your Reaper and your Roadhog are really your core front line. Your job as Lucio is basically you're the shuttle. You get them in there, the three of you guys jump on someone and you get them gone. And Kiriko's nice because she can play from far back to, let's say, drop and peel a Widow. She could TP. Or she could play really up close with the group, or she could play a little back and then jump to the group if they need any kind of support or need like statuses cleared from them. Widow is a little bit of the odd one out here, but can totally work in this kind of comp. She just stays back while everyone else holds the front line. They keep the enemy busy, and then Widow can hopefully get some picks. So it's a pick-heavy, kind of brawly comp. It doesn't work, though, when people aren't staying together. So one, Ellen probably shouldn't have been quite as far out. But two, as a Lucio, you really want to be going for something here if you're going to hold this forward. Their enemy team has a pretty strong line. You'll see I've come forward kind of thinking that Hog and I will go do something together. But the rest of the enemy are holding up here. And they hold this position for basically the rest of the match. Whenever they're up here, the Bastion and the Hanzo really like hanging out here. So we'll get back to Lucio gameplay, but that's just a little bit of theory on like how to think about how our comp works. In this part of the game, we would only have just have learned how their comp works, so we can't really react to it yet. But if you're here, we're looking for a boop in the next couple seconds, or we're getting back to the team. So let's see, we drop in. So immediate thought here is, again, what are we looking for? Getting in behind them and booping them forward is a really cool idea. And I'm not saying that just to be flippant. That is a really cool idea. You drop in through the back, you boop someone forward, you break their defensive line. But two things. One, it only works to break a defensive line if there is a defensive line. And because the enemies aren't here, we're not actually doing a lot, just because there's nowhere that we can, oh my gosh, if I can get away from your character for a second, there's nowhere that we can actually like pull them away from, right? No one is here. They're all back here. So what I would love to see is, if you're coming out as Lucio, again, if there's like a cool boot play that you're going for immediately, like you have a lot of success beating the enemy here, rolling out through here, and knocking them off. Cool. Otherwise, when you're coming forward, probably stay with the team a little bit more to help them roll out. And then if you see the enemies are holding there, sweet. Chain together a couple jumps, come around, they won't be expecting it, boop into like a Roadhog hook or like Reaper going in with shotguns. But here, we've booped someone in, and it really doesn't give us much. The whole enemy team is all together. I just forced them off the top, and I might kill the Bastion here. But this position doesn't give us a lot. Even though you'll probably get out of it safely, it still just kind of leaves the team scattered. We're doing a good job surviving. And that's one piece of overall feedback. You do a really good job of just like overall Lucio movement, staying around, surviving. I felt from that. So we're hanging out over here, but we aren't doing a lot, right? We're not going to get a pick here, and we're not going to support the team here, which again is where Lucio really shines, are those like distinct, all right, fuck it, I'm going after this guy, or you guys aren't touching my team because I'm speeding them around. So here we have one person down. We probably want to back out because you're probably not going to get a solo pick, but you might. Let's see. All right, not getting the pick there. So we're going to go back around, mess with Hog a little bit. He's a tank. He has knockback resistance, so we're just going to go back to the team. Now we're healing, which is good because we're more with the team, but we're not super with the team yet. Okay, and then we get pulled and hooked. So what I would say here is overall really good movement, pretty good shooting as well. It's hard to shoot another Lucio, but like I have no issues with that. The thing to keep in mind is just the whys of everything. And remember, Lucio's a character who, like, pulling someone's attention is sometimes enough of a thing to do. If you can just distract their tank and pull their healers back and 3 people turn on you, hell yeah, you've made the fight effectively into a 4v2, which is super worth it. But if you're only pulling one person's attention, you're basically just losing your main healer, because you're basically operating as a main healer in like a Kiriko Lucio comp. And they're losing like one of their DPS or one person who just really isn't otherwise occupied. So we'll keep watching. Alright, we're back. Going through our rollout. Yeah, so this is now a spot where team isn't with you. And we just want to have everyone group together. You're doing exactly the right thing. Coming back, getting folks together. And quick tip here, this is where I've been the most successful in comp, is when you have something that you want to do, whether it's a goal of Lucio, like a group everyone together and going together, or if it's an idea that you have that'll take you out of that positioning, like, hey, I want to loop around the back of the point, call it out. I am not as much when we all play together because we're just kind of fucking around, but when I'm actually in comp, I am super, super vocal. So if I was you here and I was a Lucio, for example, and I'm taking maybe a little bit more of that shot caller role, what I'm immediately calling here while I'm just poking this Bastion is like, all right, group, we're running in left side. I'm going to speed boost us in, Reaper drop top, and come in top, and you're going to hit him when we come in. That would be a really cool potential play here, because essentially what we could say as Lucio is the play that our team wants to execute. We kind of all know it, right? We want to all be grouped up. We're going to run through here. They have one Roadhog who's not going to have his ult yet. It's way too early in the game. And then we're just going to run on him. Reaper's all the way up here. So either he just kills Hanzo, which I think I do here, or like we all drop in together. But you can really call those team plays because Lucio is, in a lot of ways, such a team player anchor character. So if you have cool ideas, make the team do them. And you can really excel as someone who just like makes those plays happen. Good job playing around with your tank. I killed 2. Good try at the boop off. You're also doing good switching between healing and speed and body blocking for your tank. I like all of that a lot. Yep, heal boost, that's correct. Getting in there, yes. Oh, Sid got hooked. Good try to go in there, Lucio. You want to now be in point. You want to be supporting. There are healers you need up, so good job. Yeah, overall that was great. You did a good job alternating between who you were focusing and a pretty good job being with the team. And you could feel there that difference, hopefully, of I'm with my team and I'm taking those actions and I'm getting those picks versus I'm solo, which again can work, but only in certain conditions. I won't beat around that too much. I like this flank we're going together, the boys. And now I've immediately realized I'm way out of my depth there. Yep. See, and I don't mind going behind there at all. That's actually, this is a great example of like a smart Lucio flank, because if we watch this again, this is just a really quick flank. But you're coming around here, and now real quick, let's step back again. Let's look at the team's position. So if we're taking a gander at where everyone is, we have most of the team grouped up over here. Classic front line for the point. We have Widow somewhere. I'm missing her. Oh, she's back in spawn. She got picked. Okay, that changes this a little bit. But I'm holding this corner, which is a great place for Reaper to be. And so you know, well, shit, my whole team's kind of together over here. Reaper might fuck around a little bit and need some support, so I can go and do that. And you do a really nice job here of coming in, hitting them a little bit. You're not in too much danger here because they're not focused on you. You boop their Lucio out of position, which could very well potentially give your Reaper a kill, especially because he's close to ult. And then you get out of there, you loop back around, and suddenly we're supporting Reaper. Great, great, great flank. You got pick potential there, synergizing with your team. You were never in a moment of danger, and as soon as your Reaper needed you, you were there. Stepping back from that for a second as well, quick other thing that I noticed, should be hitting tab more. Tab is super powerful in games like this. As soon as you pull it up, the main thing I want you tracking, besides just if you have a hard time tracking who's alive and who's not, this can be helpful. The biggest thing are going to be ult percentages. And you'll hear me call that a lot when we're all playing together, so it's less of something for us to do now. But when you're playing in comp, or even when you're maybe playing in quick play if you're tryharding, you want to monitor ults, because as Lucio, your ult is super, super, super strong. So what you don't want to do is have a fight where Gentry pops his Widow ult, and then you beat, and then I Reaper ult, and they don't use anything. Because the next time we fight, well, shit, their beat's up, and what are we going to use to counter that? Like, whole hog? That doesn't really give us anything. So the main thing to know, again, this is a little bit more of an advanced point, but the concept of ult layering is you want to use ults to get enough of an advantage to win a fight, and or you want to save a big ult like Lucio beat to counter something of theirs. If you know they have something really powerful, like if they had a Reaper ult of their own, you might want to save your ult. As it is now, you can kind of use your ult to run over them, as long as everyone knows together and you're calling it out beforehand. All right, group on a beat in 3, 2, 1, go, 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 and you amp speed, and then everyone just closes their eyes to the health bar and just clicks until the enemy's gone. Super powerful for Lucio to be really aware of his team's ult cooldowns, just at a high level. What's ready, what's within 15%. All right, getting back to things. Doing a good job on heals, making sure everyone stayed up. Doing a good job poking here as well. I like that. You think they might be coming around here, so we're going up to the top, but we're coming around. Okay, so joining up with me. Yeah, I mean, that was just a little bit of a messy fight from everyone. Overall, totally fine. You split with the Reaper instead of going with the rest of the team, which is totally fine in this circumstance. Some folks like to stay with, some folks like to go on sort of these side adventures. I really like to, so that was a good pairing up. But also, you could have stayed with the team. That's just personal preference. And then getting over to your Widow to try and keep her safe. That's nice. Yeah, overall, this is great. Yeah, I like the idea of looking for a boop there. That's a hard boop to pull off, but that's totally fine. You're doing a good job getting over to your Reaper. Let's see how this plays out.
Oh, let's break it. Damn!
Alright, we're gonna pause there. Let's rock it back just a little bit.
Oh, let's break it. Damn!
A little bit more. Alright. So we get hooked, we get hit. Let's actually go a tiny bit further. Okay, now. So you're coming around, you go save Reaper. Nice. You're hitting him, Reaper's low. This wouldn't make sense to beat because I'm out of line of sight and only one person's hurt anyway. You get pulled in, you don't die. This is a good job getting around here and then getting back with the team. So I really like your positioning right now.
Oh, let's break it. Damn!
Beat here is maybe not quite the best use of beat, but it also is it's a totally fair reaction, right? You're coming in, you know you're low, and you know the team is low. If we're being really technical, the thing I would look for is who's under immediate threat. Sid's fine, she has a ton of damage reduction, plus she probably has like 400 health there. So with her breather active, she probably has the equivalent of like 600 or 800 health. And that's totally fine. Gentry's hurt, you're hurt. So I would probably swap over to heal here and just give it another couple seconds. Like amp heal would probably have the team just feeling good. You ideally want to use beat when they're right on you because it only has a couple seconds. But this is a totally fine, just slightly safe use of beat. Totally good. Yep, and then Sid gets just the craziest whole hog. I like going after this Roadhog here. This is fine. They're already hurting. But good pull back. Anything more than that would have been an overcommitment. I don't know how that boop on Sombra didn't go through. That looked great. Yeah, this is all solid here. Maybe swap over to heals there a little bit earlier. In general, when you're... This is just a small nitpick point. Overall, that was totally good. But when you're hanging out on point with the team, like here it makes sense to swap to speed to chase their Lucio, right? We're going to get him. But now he's kind of just in point. I would swap to heals here because your team's kind of taking damage the whole time. You almost died there. And having heals up is more helpful when you don't need the speed boost. That's more of just a, like, mid-game adaptation, though. That's a pretty, like, basic principle. I know that that's something that in general you're pretty good at. Skip ahead a little more. Get to the real Lucio map. Loving this rollout. Trying to beat them there for a boop, it looks like. Okay, so probably wouldn't have gone quite that deep. This is another one where there's value staying with the team. It makes sense as a play, right? This is just such a fun map for Lucio to boop in. But in general, I probably, even on a map like this, that's really good for Lucio, I probably wouldn't go that deep at the start because more than likely, I think there's probably a better chance that you get killed in a position there than you get a kill there, especially if you're going with really good players, like if you're going into gold or diamond or past there. They're just going to kill you as soon as you go in. If you got a boop, you'd really need to go around the other side of the building. Great kill there. Now, team is dead, so we're backing out. Yep, doing the right thing. We're fine to go up this side here, as long as we're just playing safe. That, I think, is a bit of an overcommitment. There's a decent chance they kill you there, and there's no... You're not getting a boop there. So playing up here is okay. Playing up here gives you, and I'm actually going to pause it before I see if you get someone knocked in, because even if you do, I think the principle still applies, though that would be a sick boop. When you're playing up on the left side, right, let's go back to the drawing board. Let's look at what the team's doing. The team is kind of all back here, because one thing this team doesn't have without you is a lot of ability to get on targets. The one way this team gets on a target is hog hooking them. Maybe if Reaper TPs on them and they don't move fast enough, but I'm busy spraying the wall over here, so it's really their whole team, our whole team, and then Lucio. And again, you might get a boop, but what also could happen is their team has a soldier, and their team has an Alari, and their team has a Sombra. So they might just start shooting our team. And basically, it's up to you to get a kill in the next couple seconds, or else they have the advantage because our team works really well getting close. Your team gets us close. Their team works really well being far away, and so far, they're far away. The only caveat here is if our Widowmaker really pops off, but this is a tricky situation for our Widowmaker to pop off in, so we won't count on that. Let's keep it going. Yeah, tough spot to get a boop, to force a boop here. You really want them to come in against our team, and then you boop. This, however, I like that. I like that backline flank, but now you want to get back to the team. Sid died. I got 1 kill. I got 2 kills. Yeah, and now you're synced up with Reaper. Now this is great. It's you 2 versus Hog. We just stagger Hog. Give him a couple more seconds. Kill him. Their Lucio's here, so we stagger 2. Like, that's all great. Yeah, I like that a lot. Alari just saved herself. You're probably going to get her here, though. Oh, very close. Very nice try. So that's another good example. I'm just going to keep beating this drum because I think this is probably the biggest thing that I would take away from this if I were you, is when you're doing Lucio flanks, when you're going out, this is a great time to do them because your team isn't pushing into something where they really need you. Team's got the point. Team is chilling. We have Gentry coming back here. Everyone else is holding a front line. Reaper's flanking as Reaper does. You hear a couple of them up here. Sweet. Let's go out. And we know that we're really strong on Lucio mechanically, so if we need to get back, we probably can. As long as no one else is waiting on us, it's totally cool to do. So here we go for the flank. It almost works. Almost get a Lari. If we got that kill, great. But even though we don't get it, we lose nothing. And in fact, we get a little bit more ult percentage. We can harass him, and then good job getting back with the team, because this is the spot they really need you. This is a little too far out there. Hog should have hooked you there. I wouldn't have pushed quite that far. But everything else is solid. This I wouldn't do. Where you are now, this is too far, and this is too much of a commitment again. Because when we're here with the team, what does the team want? The team wants amp, it wants engage, it wants your ult. We come out, we're lucky they don't get us here. Good movement. And then with this flank around, I don't think this gets us anything. Because unless we get a crazy boot, we don't get anything, but the team's losing a lot right now. I died, that's just me being a goofball. And they got some. Yeah. Yeah, so not a huge misplay, but just one of those areas where it's a lot higher value to be with your team. And maybe I didn't mention this earlier, you can still totally play for picks in that position. You can push hard, you could take shots, you could flank out, but you just want to make sure that the point that you return to is with your team. It's like I don't know, a great metaphor for it, but like you're an army camped out, right? You can send soldiers to go out and harass the enemy, but they're coming back to base. They're not like going out for a week and camping behind the enemy, because if they camp behind the enemy and then the enemy just attacks the main army, then they've just cut down the number of soldiers they have access to. It's not my best. I thought we're doing a good job surviving here. Now you're stuck pretty deep, but I think you'll get out here. Ooh, risky, but fair. We got out. This is a good position here, and this is where I would be proactively saying we can beat in 3, 2, 1. And it actually, as if I was calling that, let me call it exactly as I would normally call it if I was Lucio. All right, group up. We're gonna beat in 3, 2, 1. Oh, stop! No ults. And I would call that as soon as I saw that we got a pick. If our team feels like they have good health, Roadhog doesn't here, but he can heal himself and he's pulling back. If we feel that we're good and we get a pick, immediately cancel your ult plans. Because otherwise, we're just wasting ults. What we would love them to do is beat here. And then we just chill for a second. And then we go in and we clean them up 4v5, and they've lost their most important ult, besides Sombra. That's 1 for 1. Ooh, yeah, we don't want to be over here. See that going in there, just that wouldn't quite get us anything, although it was good damage. Here I don't mind. Close getting him. Yeah, probably a better spot to be with the team and be looking for a beat here. I would overall probably be 20 or 30% more proactive with your beats. They're really strong fight engagers, and they're really strong responses to enemy ults that you know are coming up, except for Sombra, who I think might have just left the game. But if we hold them until we absolutely need them, you would have probably had 2 beats at this point. So we're just hanging out here. That's a good spot to look for a boot. Didn't get it, but that's a great spot. You're in an okay position there. Yeah, see, that was a little bit of a forced beat. We kind of went in a little too deep and then had to beat, which isn't bad here, and I think we'll probably still win this fight. But it's just a little more powerful if we're hitting everyone and they go do something with it. Sid gets a couple good kills, they get a couple kills, but I think we just close it out here. Perfect spot to just spray down main. They can't do anything. Got the kill on Hog. Very nice. That was a great choice to go in there. This is a little bit of it. Yeah, the boop was never going to happen there. I think that might have been fishing for it a little bit too much was going in there. That would have been a good spot where, again, you kill one person, you pull back with the team goes in together. The team cleans up there, so not a big issue in retrospect, but one where if you were with your team, it would have been a 4v5, and that would have been just super, like an extra level of strength they probably couldn't break. Especially because they just have someone coming back into the game. That person's not going to be synced up with the team. They're going to have low ult charge. So, like, when someone leaves, that is a good time to push as soon as the new person joins on that first fight. They don't have much. Our Reaper is just inting it after getting a couple kills. Nice cancel for Soldier ult. Just kill that turret. Yep, you're doing the right thing. He focuses, the turret, he loses, and we win. Okay. So, overall, nice gameplay. I think what I'm seeing is what's actually not uncommon among players, where you're really strong mechanically. I think you mentioned maybe being in like bronze or silver, and your Lucio mechanic could definitely carry you higher, even without too much of a change, just as they are now. But the macro plays, I think that's probably the place I would focus on a little bit more. Just sticking with the team a little bit more. And as soon as you're going out somewhere, think of it less as I'm going to get a boop and more like I'm going to kill this person or I'm going to try and force this ult out. Like have a little bit more of a concrete idea of what you're going for, because that also lets you pull out of a plan if it's not working. For example, if they're sorta kinda gathered by the rim and their soldier's the one who's close enough to boop, cool, I'm gonna go kill soldier. If then soldier pulls back when you're halfway there, get out of there, right? They've now lost position, they've had to pull back, cool, that's kind of a win for you. But if you still say, well, I said I was gonna boop someone and I'm going forward, then you can end up in a tricky position. But yeah, overall, it's just a little bit of that shot calling, maybe some ult timing. As far as like rollouts, aim, target focus, switching between speed and healing, the things about Lucio that are really tricky, I wouldn't make too many adjustments on those. Those all look solid. Overall, really nice gameplay. Hope this is helpful.